Hello, this is Cheryl, and I'm so grateful you're joining me today. Trust that this safe and loving space is exactly where you are meant to be, to ignite your higher self and empower you in this very moment in time. There are no coincidences, so trust the nudges that call to you. As I open, channel, and share today's light filled conversation, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. We are all working to uncover the truths that will serve us on our unique journeys. Each new day brings discovery, and this truth is always empowering, illuminating, and available to us. Now is your moment to deepen your spiritual connection. If it's light, it's right. Hello, and welcome back to If It's Light, It's Right. We are in part 4 of our 5-part series on dreams. So, in previous episodes, we explored prophetic and problem solving dreams and how they reveal our inner gift and bring forth clarity and comfort and foresight. And talk about ease of choices that we face in our waking lives, the problem solving informational dreams. Then we moved on in episode 3 on release dreams. And those are the dreams we often label as nightmares. But as we discovered in that episode, even the heaviest dreams are meant to help us heal and move forward. So if you have a second, you haven't heard that episode, I really strongly would encourage you to kind of open up and feel your light. It is all light in working to help us uncover and acknowledge our light in that dream. Because remember, even in our sleep, our light is always with us. It's always guiding and supporting and gently nudging us on our soul's path, on what we want to accomplish in this lifetime, and giving us the ease. Even when, again, in episode 3, it felt scary, the release dreams, nightmares. And I hope after you listen to that, you'll see that they really aren't what our human selves determine them to be. And so what we're going to talk about today is we're going to shift in some softer space, exploring 2 uplifting dream types. So we're going to leave those scary release and nightmares in episode 3 that we uncovered in a lighted way and move into a deeper, lighter place. So we're going to talk about wish and memory dreams and astral dreams today. And astral dreams will cover loved ones visiting. And so you'll see that I'm going to go through pretty quickly the wish and memory dreams because they are pretty direct. I'm going to spend a lot more time today on the astral travel. If you have an opportunity, and the astral travel is something that doesn't you don't understand, please review. I do have that episode in a prior. It's how our spirits leave our physical form, and it's a great episode on that. So I'm just gonna fly on those coattails in this dream state, and then my share is going to talk about authoring your own dreams and how you can empower yourself and move to the dream that speaks to you. And again, this is a light and easy and comfortable episode. There's it's just light and beauty here. So let me just remind us that when we are in the dream state, our sleeping and waking minds are together in a powerful alliance. So our sleeping selves is where our light can move towards, right? Because that light of sleep that where when we call REM sleep, the light of sleep about 25% of our night is where we get our dreams. And because we can awaken ourselves. Remember, when we dream all the time, but we don't, those of us, and I'm in that category too, of remembering dreams, because I don't choose to remember my dreams. And I want to just encourage you on that piece too. You want to encourage yourself, if you want to experience dreams, if you want to experience that lighted language that happens at night, send that intent. Send that intent. I choose not so much that intent, being honest with my public here, is because I am so in space of spirit and light during my waking hours. I really do take the comfort in my sleeping hours to just shut down. I will say sometimes they crash through anyway, but for the most part, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. I will work through my light. I will attune and ask my questions in my waking self, and that speak to my heart. So I don't I don't rely on my dreams as much, but when they do come through in such significance, I know that I need to address something that I'm not addressing in my waking self. But again, I know many people, friends, family, clients that they use their dreams in a lighted way to communicate to them. So I strongly encourage you to do what speaks to you. And if you're not a dreamer and you want to be a dreamer, you are a dreamer, right? You can change that channel per se and say, talk to me through my dreams or author my dreams. I will share some pieces how you can author your dream, and I do these pieces and take that, I say, edit, modify, change, and make it to where it fits with you. But we'll talk about that in the share. So when we are in our wish and memory dreams, that's when we have so much joy and comfort. I will say too that sometimes, as I mentioned in prior episodes, sometimes we blend dreams. We are the author of our dreams, but sometimes we blend them. Our ego comes in and it kind of changes things. So our dreams kind of change as well. So I always encourage you to really understand and feel where your dream was prior to your eyes fully awaken or you fully engage in your thinking, right? Because thinking is not of light. Remember, we're half spirit and half physical, half energy and half uh, ego, right? And that ego mind, that logical mind, is our brain thinking. Our lighted self doesn't have that. It just resonates with truth. It just arrives. It doesn't need thinking. And I always say, I strongly discourage thinking when you want to get lighted answers. Our thinking world is upon us 99% of our day, right? And so it is really hard to say no. I'm just going to hit the button. I'm just going to stay in my lighted self. I wish that could happen, but it doesn't. There's work to get to that lighted self, and that is clearing all that urge chatter and that junk and that noise, and that's a really difficult place to go. But when we sleep, we're able to do that. That's why we are in our sleep land. So when you're in your sleep land, know that your free will is always still fully intact. It doesn't ever leave us. We always have it. But sometimes our human and our ego is so high that um, it wants to take charge. But we just have to say, hey, my free will trumps you. So be where you want to be, and know if you want answers given to you in your dreams, you just have to set that purpose and trust it. Don't don't feel like you're getting into human emotions of um, angst or making it happen or it hasn't happened. That is the door closing to your spirit, right? It is just trusting that it will come, in however it comes, and staying open to that. And that's what's really difficult, is that trust. And I hear that always so often, as a medium. And just how do you trust? How can I trust? And it's a very personal and unique connection. And I hear how it's hard, but and whenever you can clear that chatter and open your heart, it's there. It is there for the taking. It is there for anything that you ask for in light and love. So I'm just going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get right into wish and memory dreams. Wish and memory dreams. Those feel so good. Um, those are dreams, unlike your release in nightmares. You wake up smiling, feeling refreshed, feeling happy, right? Little or no interpretation is needed. I don't need to really say, why did that happen? I feel it, right? And that is, just as I said before I went on break, is that's our lighted self saying, feel that's a that's a cup of coffee in the morning, or a glass of orange juice, or whatever speaks to you in the morning when you wake up, or opening that window and seeing the sun, or listening to the birds, and just it feels beautiful. And so those are wish and memory dreams. Those are our spirit nudging us, and sometimes they bring us back to happy times. Happy times. But remember that ego is always in play. If we are awake, it can nudge us, and it can bring us to off interpretation, darker pieces. And I say that because when I move into the next piece of astral travel, astral travel and ego, they will bomb each other often. But what I also want to say, and I'll just give you, very often when I hear in readings this as well, is before we get into astral travel, and how our loved ones visit us, because remember, astral travel, and again, please visit a prior episode if this isn't well versed, but I'm going to give you the quick explanation. Astral travel is when we are in our deepest sleep, that's 75%, and our spirit truly leaves our physical body. It finds comfort. It visits past lifetimes. It visits loved ones. It moves to where it feels comfort. It is not something that we generally acknowledge, but I am going to just, in a couple minutes, just talk about when that can happen, because on occasion we can catch ourselves in between. And I will talk about that. But I will say too, I'm just going to touch upon it, and I'm going to get into it a little deeper when I talk about loved ones and authenticity of loved ones, because very often, I'll start with my question. I just heard that. I'll start with my question. Everyone, a mom or a loved one leaves. Everyone in my family has dreamt of my mom, but me. Why can't my mom visit me? And only through channeling and the individual's heart, when we can move there, can answer that. But I will speak in general terms, and please understand that they're in general terms. And as we move through this episode, maybe you'll fine tune yours as well. Those wish and memory dreams are sometimes that. Remember, we author our dreams. So sometimes when we author in a loved one, it isn't truly a visit in terms of spirit. You can coin it as a visit, and it was a nice visit. Mom came. We sat and had tea. But sometimes that is just a wish or a memory dream. I miss mom. I wish I wanted to see mom again. So I want to just say that, because very often when I get people that come in and say, generally what comes through, sometimes they are authentic visits, and they do acknowledge those, but very often those are just wish and memory dreams. And we're going to talk about that a little deeper in fashion, and some characteristics that will help you kind of understand that. But I also say too, if you want to believe, if you feel or believe, or whatever verb you want, that mom visited you because she was in your dream and that makes you feel good, then you keep that. You take that to the bank. There is no reason to have to explain it more. I want to just explain it a little deeper when there's certain attributes or characteristics that show up in your dream. And I just want to just fine tune that. But your mom shows up in your dream and you want to hug her and she visited you and your thoughts there, then hug her and she visited you. So don't try and talk yourself out of it unless you want to move there. That is the feel good of dreams. I just want to touch upon in a couple minutes how when we see our loved ones and there's certain characteristics that didn't make me feel good when I saw them, what that means. So just stay tuned for that. So again, memory, wish dreams, feel good, sweet, visit places that make me feel good. And I'm going to talk about that in your share and talk about how you can author and start your dreams in that happy place, So stay tuned for that and see what speaks to you in that. I'm going to move into astral travel in a little deeper fashion now, in specifically in dream state. So astral travel is lighted spirit travel. It's truly a silver cord that joins your spirit and body. So I have people ask, well, how if my spirit doesn't find its way to the body? It's always connected until our final breath in human form ceases. And then we go beautifully to the other side. So there's a silver cord that is adapted. And it occurs in our dream state. And it also can occur during meditation. I do astral travel in my meditation, and some of you that are listening don't think you do, but you really do. When your spirit just moves away from your authentic self. And it doesn't have to be um, uh, a huge event, like the one I'm going to talk about in just another minute, astral paralysis or astral catalepsy, that I'll outline, and I have experienced on a few occasions. It's a feeling of lightness. It's a feeling of moving, and maybe in your dream state, you just felt that that ease and that flight, or just that feeling of being light, lighted and weightless, and you didn't really name it as astral travel. I'm going to give you that word to sit with, right? To digest it. Did I really? Was I really out of my spirit? And yes, ask your heart always, right? Because your heart has the answers. But yes, there have been times when I felt the lightness and just looking down at my body during dream state, or drifting down my hallway during dream state. And again, it's a feeling of flight, of motion, of weightlessness. So, it's a phenomenon that all light does. We all do it. We do it in our deepest sleep. Sometimes we will never remember it. But if you want to remember it, or you want to experience it, ask. Very often, I feel a notion to insert this. I very often, people will say, why do I wake every day at 3 a.m., Cheryl? I wake up every day at 3 a.m. Why is that? And I say, you tell me. And they're like, no, 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 tell me. And I say, you are creating that for whatever reasons of purpose it's meant to. And their human self can't understand that. But I need to sleep. Why am I waking up at 3 a.m.? I need my sleep. And I say, but you are creating that. But your waking mind is not experiencing or acknowledging that. That is your higher self giving you what you ask for, even though your human self says no. Remember, our higher self is always trying to make connections, to make an alliance, to make reminders that our spirit needs, right? Remember this. Remember this, Cheryl or Joe or John or whatever. Remember, you are of light. This is not by chance that you're waking up exactly at 3 a.m. every single morning. It's not by chance. You are creating that event for reasons of lighted purposefulness. Sometimes it's just a nudge to say, okay, this is weird. Every day at 3 a.m. Why? Ask your heart, right? And sometimes it's so general that it's saying, give me something that I can't overlook, right? Give me something that nudges my consciousness, my waking self to say, huh, wow, all right, there's something here. Yes. It might be just a little flicker of a nudge to say, you are of light. You have this gift. We all have free will and gift, and using our psychic abilities to connect with spirit. We all have it. So maybe tap into that, or ask your question that you have that's been bothering you that you don't think is being heard, or maybe you're having trouble in your life at that very aspect, and you're like, okay, the light is watching me because I'm waking up every day, and I know that's a lighted vehicle. Maybe that's what you're giving yourself. I can't answer that to you in context. I can channel that, but I can't answer that. You can, though. You can open your heart and say, why? Why do I wake up at 3 a.m.? Again, it is how our dream state, and again, I'm really trying to thread this through all 5 episodes. We're all connected. We are so connected with our dream state. That is where our light is generally in full bloom for most of us. Because again, we've silenced that earth's noise. We are available to hear our light. We are available to open to light. And light is what we're made of. Like, we have God in our heart. We are scented with all that knowledge. It's all collective knowledge as well. My knowledge is no different than your knowledge. It's just a way of tapping into it and interpreting and finding your truths as you walk this path, as you walk this gentle, this gentle paradox of human and enlightened energy. It is a walk, but we chose it. So when we astral travel, we visit. We visit, whether we're the ones that visit, or loved ones visit, or we connect. So when we are astral traveling, and that is truly a spiritual phenomenon, right? It's spiritual. It's not part of authoring. It's not part of our dream state or how our like kind of authors. It is true divineness, and um, it's not often that we uncover that in our consciousness. And I have to say that because it's truth in my heart, and I have to give that to you too. Astral travel in any of it is divine, and it is not an occurrence that happens often. So embrace that and see how you feel. And again, we have varying levels of gift, right? Some of us are asleep. If you're listening to this, you are certainly at least in the curious stage. You are maybe even awakened or enlightened. But we all have these gifts, and they ebb and flow at times of the day, the month, the year, decades, and we accept that. We accept that in the journey. And astral travel is one of those key aspects of light. It is almost a quintessential um, Earth experience. So when we astral travel, we visit loved ones on the other side. And remember, in comfort, we leave for comfort. We visit past lifetimes, kindred souls, loved ones in abundance, loved ones from other lifetimes, right? Not just the ones that have left us in this lifetime. I hear that quite often. Well, is my mother there? And sometimes, well, which mother are you talking about? But I know that was channeled for a reason of enlightenment, right? Or awakening. Well, what do you mean by that? I say, you have had many lifetimes. You've had many mothers. And that is, I always trust that the channel comes as how the channel is meant to come. And that has given maybe an awakeness or a nudge to that person saying, wow. And that's what builds our soul groups, right? We don't just have one mother and one father. Like sometimes we think very linear. We have many mothers and fathers. We have many siblings. We have many siblings. And who we choose to incarnate with is beautiful and wonderful. But we have many on the other side. That's part of our guides. That's part of our Calvary, right? That are here to help us. Help me on my way. Help me, keep aligning me. Keep nudging me. Keep reminding me. That is the astral travel that we go to. It's always in light, love, and comfort. I want to talk about astral paralysis because I have experiences. I talked about that in a prior episode too. When that is the first time I saw my spirit guide through this piece. So astral paralysis is when we get caught up. We get caught up in in our waking, in our spiritual, our astral travel, either coming, returning back, or leaving, and our self wakes, right? And again, I know it was a very scary and fearful event for me. But I know that's because my ego took over. My ego was in full force making it that way. But upon understanding how the light works, I asked for this experience. I asked for this experience, and my spirit knows and won't talk itself out of, like, why would you ever ask for this experience? I know that my light asked for this, and I got what I asked for. So what happened in my event in many events that maybe you're hearing and maybe you didn't understand and now you're going to understand, and they don't have all the same characteristics, but here are the characteristics that are generally apparent in what happened to me. So when I became awake, I had such pressure on my chest. And I remember looking around and seeing with my human eyes everything, and I could not move. I couldn't move. I couldn't move my head. I couldn't move any appendage, but my brain was fully intact and going to very dark and deep places. I could hear loud sounds. I could feel a very strong vibration. It was very brief in time when you think about Earth time. And then it was just gone. And in one of my experiences having that, my spirit guide showed herself to me. I knew of her. I knew her name. I had talked to her prior, but I'd never seen her. And she just showed up with this white, beautiful light surrounding her beautiful face, and a picture I still have in my thoughts. And I still see her, and I still visit with that face. And she was just saying her thoughts. It's going to be okay. It's almost over. It's going to be okay. You're good. And just that air of comfort, I was just glued into. I was just enveloped by her love, and just feeling that sincerity of love, and in coming to me in my time of need, in my humanness, right? But again, and then it dissipated, and I could fully move again. And the next day, I went to uncover that through meditation, or to talking with spirit, and heard that was my body coming back into spirit, and my awaking self catching that. But my humanness and my ego took it to very deep and dark spaces. But that was not the light experience, because my spirit, my light was open and on fire, and it took me to dark places. And I really felt as though I was being attacked almost. But I now see that was just my human embellishment and my human narration. It was not what was truly happening in my light. So now I want to move into loved ones and how they visit. And how do I know it's authentic? Again, if you feels good and you want to keep it as an authentic visit, you take that to the bank. Enjoy it, envelop it. There's no rules. It feels good. I want to just talk about when I want to clear up some pieces when it doesn't feel so good, and you've authored that person. And I really want to kind of talk about that, because remember, dreams are. I always want to bring things through with light, love, and comfort, and understanding, and for you to fine tune your truths. Fine tune your truths. So when a loved one visits, I want to say it is very uncommon. A true authentic visit, spirit visit, is very uncommon for you to awaken on. It certainly happens during that deepest sleep, but very rarely happens when the waking mind recalls it. And I will say, when that does happen, it's generally around the time of their passing. And I will say that for a couple of reasons. And again, not one size fits all. So stay where you need to stay. It's generally to, when we pass, let me start here. When we pass, we still have a lot of earth's energy. We still have a lot of physical energy. And that physical energy is palpable to our light. We can feel that energy. So very often when our loved ones leave this earth's plane, when they take their final human breath, their presence is still very, I call it, dense. So that's why we can feel them more at the time of their passing, around the time of their passing. We can see them sometimes, and we can visit with them. So, and very often, because they are so dense, they want to visit you in your waking state, to give you sometimes comfort, and let you know that I'm okay. I'm okay. So when those kind of visits happen, you have clarity. You wake up very alert, like boom, boom. You're filled with clarity, a beautiful clarity, meaning, oh, that was something. That there was something there, strong and beautiful emotion, in the answers are there, and again, sometimes our spirit just needs to see them one last time, or feel them, or say goodbye, or see them healthier. Right? That's very often how loved ones show up. And their whole purpose of doing that, when that does occur in the waking self, and again, if you don't get this, if your loved one doesn't authentic visit you, you are in the mass of commonality. Like that is what happens in most occurrences. Very often, and again, I say this as a generic statement, that when we see our loved ones, it is just a wish dream. It's a dream that I want to see them, so I'm going to author them in. I need to feel them. I'm going to author them in. And it isn't generally an authentic visit. An authentic visit is vivid. It is clarity. There is no, you just know it. It's beautiful emotions, and it's very basic. It's when I say that, they come generally in a setting that is familiar. It's generally in a place, and we talk telepathically spirits, so generally you don't see their mouths move, but you just see them and you just feel them or hear them saying, I'm good. I'm good. Generally, they'll show themselves if they had a very traumatic ending, and humanly they suffered. In that, I mean, in cancer they were ravaged, or a very difficult accident, they were dismembered, or they come in wholeness, in almost in a space where you're like, oh, they look so good, they look so happy, and they don't come with messages. And I have to say that because that is a big earmark for ego blending in. Now, just stay with me. And again, no size fits all, so stay with me. So when our loved ones visit, there's no ego, right? So they don't come in with judgment. They won't show themselves giving you judgment. There's no early emotions that exist on the other side. And I'm going to come back to that. It's usually peaceful. It's comforting. No specific message. It's usually logical and not fantastical. It has usually step 1, step 2, step 3, and again, a familiar scene or location. And when I say there's no judgment, there's no earthly emotions, let me just give you an example of what comes to me in readings and that sort of thing. My mom came in; she looked so beautiful, and I tried to talk to her, but she turned away, and she wouldn't turn back, or she was crying, or she was unhappy and fearful, like she was scared of something. Again, those are earmarks for a non-authentic visit, or a blend, sometimes a blend. And generally when I see those, and I'm just going to, again, very general statements, they generally are, in that kind of context, release dreams, right? Because they're not happy. Mom isn't talking to me. Mom turned away. Mom's crying. Mom's fearful. Mom's scared. That is earthly emotions that would not leave you happy, right? They create more angst in you, or and they're generally in the release dream. They're generally something that you need work in. Maybe you're feeling guilty about something. Maybe you're hoping mom doesn't judge you on A, B, or C, right? I can attest to you that it does not exist. It does not exist on the other side. No matter what you did on this earth's plane, they carry none of it. Open your heart and you will feel that. But we are on this emotional planet, this very difficult walk. So we have to carry those swords, right? We have to carry those and find in truth and empowerment with that. We have to walk towards that. It doesn't go away. So if you have a loved one that you authored in with those type of settings or emotions, sometimes they're a blend, but I want to say generally they're not, because if your loved one was truly visiting you with their spirit, that trumps all. That good feeling, that love, that hello, that I'm good, that's the clarity that ego just can't penetrate. It just can't penetrate. So again, give yourself ease that if that does happen in your dreams, that it's not a visit. They're not unhappy with you. They're not sad about something. That's generally a release dream and something that you're working through in that respect. Or that you blended your ego with it. But again, When it's a true visit from a loved one, that just the love and the clarity just trump all. It just trumps all. But be open to that. That as soon as that rational mind is awake, ego is holding its hand, and again, spirit will always give you what you need. And none of that junk moves to the other side. When we finish our lifetime, when we're done and we return back home, I resist the word death because I don't believe in death. It really is just a spirit cycle to keep incarnating and going home. Should we choose, always free will, that all that earth's junk stays on this earth's plane, and we move beautifully to the other side, no matter what happened in this earth's plane. We understand with clarity, and those emotions truly don't exist. So as best you can, open your heart and just let those go. Let those go. And in a moment, I'm going to just give you some thoughts to share on making some happy dreams on your dream state. Do you need some comfort? Well, author one, make one, start one, create one, move into your dream state that way. And those memory dreams, I call those also dreams of entertainment. Sometimes I just want to be entertained. I want to, I don't know, I want to release myself from this craziness of the earth, and I just want to have a good time. So sometimes I will begin and author those dreams, or sometimes I will ask myself for those dreams. Again, I call them wish and memory dreams, but they're just feel good dreams. They're nothing to have to dissect and interpret, and they just feel good and they make me laugh, or I'm just having a great time. So sometimes when I need that, I'll move into my nighttime sleep that way. You know what? This has been a tough day. I'm gonna move into my own space. So I say create a script. Like pretend you're truly an author of a movie, or engage yourself in a movie script of sorts, right? And again, stay open to that interpretation, right? I say edit, modify, create what speaks to you, and go to your happy place. Go to where you find joy. Maybe it's a setting. Maybe it's a place you've never visited that you want to, and you're going to set forth an excursion and see all these beautiful things you're going to see. Maybe it's a relationship that you want so badly. Well, create it. Make it all. Have yourself some fun. Right? Dreams don't have to be mundane and dreary and scary. And have fun. That's what I really want to encourage you, because you can. Yes, you can. So here are some of my favorites. I like to watch soap operas, or I don't watch them so much because they're but I like to kind of play out that drama. Or children in a sweet memory. Maybe you want to think about yourself, the sweet memories that you had as a child. Maybe go back and revisit that. Maybe even eating mounds of ice cream, sitting on your favorite seat, talking to your favorite person, and in playing horseshoes at a campground, or going on a roller coaster at Disney World, or where is your happy place? Start that, right? Create a script, create a go just maybe move yourself to that place and just see where you take yourself. We are also so different, our connection and our uniqueness. I like to make a script or kind of have but maybe you just say, okay, I'm gonna move myself to someplace I've never been, and I'm just gonna open my eyes and see what's there. I've never been here. Show me what's here. And who cares if it's not true or is true? Maybe it is true, and maybe you're tapping into a past lifetime, maybe even, right? Because that's when we let go of the earth's chatter. That's what happens, right? We move into whatever speaks to us in light. So take a drive to a location that you've always wanted to. Or I love to drive, so sometimes just me in a car, just driving is very relaxing for me, right? Going to get a Diet Coke at McDonald's is in a drive with no expectations in an hour is can be exciting to me, but in my waking life. So maybe I take that into my dream life too, right? Start your dream. Start your dream. Maybe you've always wanted to build a house. What would you do? Would you go to a store and buy the wood? Maybe you enjoy using your hands, or maybe your hands are full of arthritis now, but you still love to knit. Go back to knitting, right? And create whatever speaks to you in happiness. In happiness. Sometimes when I'm feeling very stressed, or very, I need to kind of relax, or ground myself, I think of the most beautiful location, and I love to float. I am a floater. I used to be a swimmer in high school, but I like to float on water. I love, because I'm an astral traveler. I love that feeling of lightness. So floating to me speaks to me. So when I choose to kind of want to find relaxation or move into that space, I bring myself to like a desolate island, an island location, an ocean setting, but no waves. Which is unrealistic, but who cares? It's my dream. And it's just flat. And I put myself on a float. It's usually like a round float with the sun on me, not too hot, because I'm not a sun goddess. I do like the warmth of sun, but I don't like heat of sun. And I just sit there and I just feel myself floating in the sun and the waves. And I just sing gratitude to me in that dream, which is me and human waking self, right? And you see how easy that is? Well, I give you what speaks to you right here, right now. Maybe try that tonight or tomorrow, or maybe on the weekend when you're a little bit more relaxed, right? And what speaks to you? And sometimes another aspect of my wish and dreams, sometimes when we all have to wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, or um, I'll wake myself up. And if you have free time, which I know we don't have free time, but set your alarm, right? Set your alarm at a time. Usually 3 to 6 is our lightest time of sleep, because it's usually generally the time that we'll be waking for the day. Set your alarm and see what when that alarm wakes up, what dream were you in? Right? What dream you were in. Don't certainly do it on a day that you don't have time to recoup back that sleep, but what was a dream? If you want to explore your dreams in a bathroom setting, right? Like sometimes I do wake up and I'm like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And I am in the middle of a dream of happiness. I'm in that wish dream state, right? I'm like, oh, I really like that dream I was in. So when I lay back down, I take it from where I left it. And so I kind of keep creating it. I'm like, okay. And then next this will happen, and next this will happen. It is all within your free will and your power, right? It is you creating your dreams. And sometimes we can do that happily with our human state, right? And then see where our dream state takes it. But again, these are our creations. It is our free will. And remember that free will in your light always gives you exactly what you need for your journey. Dreams are simply an extension of that support, offering comfort in many forms, whether through a wish or a memory dream, a visit from a loved one, or a quiet magic of your spirit traveling beyond the physical. Your heart always knows the truth of your dreams. It recognizes the authenticity of the sacred space you've created and crafted while you sleep. So the next time you're feeling low or weighed down, remember, you have the power to lighten yourself up. You truly can. So when you ask your spirit to do this, it listens and responds with deep devotion. We are in constant alliance with our higher self, our spirit in the lighted realm, filled with angels and guides, loved ones from all lifetimes, all walking with us on this challenging yet beautiful path. So stop in your dream and smell the flowers. And if they aren't there, author them in. You're the dreamer, you're the creator. And before you drift into sleep, speak gently to yourself. Send out your intention for insight, comfort, or guidance, and then trust. Trust the light, trust your inner wisdom, and learn to gently notice when the ego tries to dim what feels good and true. And next week, we wrap up our dream series with a beautiful final episode focused on interpreting your dreams and learning how to create your very own dream journal. which is some sacred space to hold that wisdom, healing, and light that your dreams offer every night. Until then, may your dreams bring you peace, clarity, and the deep reminder that you are never alone. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on your journey today. There's so much for us to explore and learn together. If there's a light-filled topic you're curious about, or if you just want to reach out, I'd love to connect. Follow me on social media at Cheryl Bradley Medium, or visit cherylbradley.com to explore my offerings and events. I hope today's episode has filled you with the light to carry with you until we meet again. And let the title of this podcast stay with you today and every day. If it's light, it's right. Blessings on your journey.